What is up? It's NFL Week 11. We are inching closer to the fantasy football playoffs, and this is Club Fantasy's Streams of the Week. I'm Ryan Weisse, co-host of No Punt Intended. If you're new to this show, quick recap of what I do. I give you my top 5 streaming options at quarterback, tight end, and defense every week, and all of these players were available in about 50% of Yahoo leagues as of Wednesday after waivers have run. These are what I call true streaming options. You can probably go pick them up right now. Before we jump into this week, let's quickly recap last week. It was not my best week, coming off of a very good week 9. Last week, my quarterback did hit, Taylor Heineke. Not the best game, not a great game, but he delivered, and we hit on 3 out of 5 quarterbacks. Ricky Seals-Jones was my only tight end who missed. We did actually pretty good on the tight ends. He missed because of injury, but man, oh man, did I let you guys down in defense. It's the first week where at least 3 of my defenses did not hit. And to make matters so much worse, the Browns scored negative points. You would have been better off not starting a defense. But as bad as that is, there's only 21 fantasy points if you started my streams of the week. My goal is 30 to 35 every week. There's no way to put it. I let you guys down. On the season, if you started my quarterback every week, you've built the QB 14, you've built the tight end 17, and you've built the defense 7, all without ever wasting a draft pick. It's time to rebound. We're going to jump into week 11. So we're going to start with the quarterback. We start at 5. We work our way up to my stream of the week. Number 5 is going to be Tua Tagovailoa taking on the New York Jets. Jets have a bad defense. Not that I absolutely love Tua. It's been widely noted that the Jets slow down fantasy quarterbacks and wide receivers, but the thing is Miami is also bad, so this might accidentally be a good football game. Tua was somehow the QB 15 in like 3 quarters of football last week. Number 4 is going to be Justin Fields taking on the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore's defense is not as good as everyone pretends that it is, and Fields is actually the QB 3 over his last 2 games played. He's starting to get it done with his legs. I think it could be a big week for the kid. Number 3 is going to be Daniel Jones taking on Tampa Bay. This is not that I love Daniel Jones. He's still going to turn the ball over, but you have to throw against Tampa Bay, and they give up big plays. It should be a decent garbage time week for Daniel Jones. Number 2, this is scary. Cam Newton taking on the Washington football team. Cam gets it done with his legs. It's a cheat code for quarterbacks. He scored 2 touchdowns in his first half week with the Panthers. I think it could be another decent week for him this week. Number 1, Mac Jones taking on the Atlanta Falcons. Mac Jones just hung 3 touchdowns on the Cleveland Browns. The Falcons defense is not the Cleveland defense. It's a short week. Anything could happen. And what I think is going to happen is back-to-back top 5 weeks for Mac Jones at fantasy quarterback. We're going to move to tight ends. Number 5 is going to be Adam Troutman taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. When you're streaming tight end, you're either chasing touchdowns or you're chasing volume. With Troutman, it's touchdowns. The Eagles have given up 8 to the position. I hope he can score 1 this week. Number 4 is going to be Cole Kmet taking on Baltimore. This kind of ties in with my love for Justin Fields. Fields loves to feed Darnell Mooney. Kmet has been a steady second option for him. He's definitely outplaying Jimmy Graham, hoping for a touchdown this week, but there's been decent volume there too. Number 3 is going to be Tyler Conklin taking on the Green Bay Packers. Conklin's seen steady volume. He's a factor in the red zone. Even with Dalvin Cook, you could see a Tyler Conklin touchdown. Number 2, Pat Freiermuth taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. It's even better if Ben Roethlisberger plays, but even with Mason Rudolph, we saw targets for Freiermuth. He didn't quite get the job done, but I think this is going to be a better week against the Los Angeles Chargers. And number 1, to no surprise, Dan Arnold. I usually won't pick the same guy back-to-back, and Arnold wasn't the guy last week, but he may just be stapled for the rest of the season. Arnold has seen an insane amount of targets for Jacksonville since being traded there, and what I love is he's a top 5 tight end since joining the Jacksonville Jaguars. He hasn't scored a touchdown yet. If Trevor Lawrence finds a way to get this man into the end zone, he could be a top 2 tight end in fantasy football, and yet he's available every week in more than 50% of leagues. Fix that fantasy. We're going to jump over to my defenses. Hopefully a big rebound for defense this week. Number 5 is going to be the New York Jets taking on the Miami Dolphins. As I mentioned, I do like Tua. I don't always like to start my defenses, but there can be turnovers, and the Jets defense can step up as long as their offense can keep them in the game, which I think Joe Flacco may be able to. Number 4 is going to be the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. I like Cincinnati's defense. I think the Raiders are going to be prone to turn the ball over. I think Cincinnati could actually win this game, possibly in a blowout. You're going to see turnovers and sacks. Number 3, is going to be the Los Angeles Chargers taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Again, I don't like to start guys against previous guys that I've mentioned, but if this is Mason Rudolph, look for the Chargers just to get all over the Pittsburgh offense. Number 2 is going to be the Miami Dolphins taking on the New York Jets. I do think this is going to be a Miami game. I originally thought this was going to be a great play before Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco, I think, gets rid of an interception, but probably adds a sack. Could balance out a little bit. I still think the Dolphins are a good play this week. And number one is the Carolina Panthers taking on the Washington football team. Taylor Heineke gets it done, but he typically gets it done in garbage time. I think there's going to be a ton of sacks. Carolina is great at getting after the quarterback, and I believe they're going to force turnovers along with that. Great week for the Carolina defense. They shouldn't be available in more than 50% of leagues. They are. Go out and get them. So those are my streams of the week. The Carolina defense taking on the Washington football team, Dan Arnold taking on the San Francisco 49ers, and Mac Jones on Thursday beating up the Atlanta Falcons. I hope it goes a lot better this week. Please hit subscribe. We do giveaways every single time we hit a subscriber milestone. We have jerseys and helmets and footballs that we want to give you guys. You'll see videos about DFS. You'll see videos about start-sit questions. We're here to help you guys win fantasy football, and that's what this is all about. Check the link in the description for our partnership with Thrive Fantasy. They'll give you free money to come play some player props over on their website. As I mentioned, we're here to help you guys win fantasy. We're here to help you guys win money. We're here to help you guys win, unless you're playing me this week. Good luck.